Welcome back. New figures show that retail spending rose in January by 0.3%, following a fall late last year. But despite the latest boost, many popular brands are closing their doors.
This week, Ali Fashion announced they'll be shutting down all 185 locations by mid-April, following the recent closure of Mosaic brands, which include names like Miller's, Noni B and Rivers. National Business Editor Amelia Brace is here to tell us more. Good morning, Amelia. What's the current state of the retail sector?
Well, as you said, we just got the January figures and there was a slight uptick, 0.3%. That's not much, but it's moving in the right direction, although that was mainly food spending. So that was people spending a bit more on groceries or eating out, watching the cricket, watching the Australian Open maybe. On a whole, we've seen the purchasing of consumer goods, of household goods go down in that month. That could be because we spent so much in November and December with those sales that we either don't have any money or we have everything we need, or it could be that we are just spending less on those items. On a whole, the last 6 to 9 months, we are seeing consumer sentiment and spending increasing slightly. So it's going in the right direction, and it will only continue to improve as we see the impacts of things like interest rate cuts.
There's this new discount store called Panda Mart, and they're talking about it like it's a real-life Temu, yeah? So it opened up with huge queues. It was crazy. Do we expect to see more of this sort of ultra-cheap options?
Well, based on this sort of response, you would say yes. I mean, it's my worst nightmare, but there were thousands of people there. They had to call the police in to control the crowds.
So your nightmare, I'm thinking, where is this and how do I get there?
It is in Melbourne, I can tell you that. On a whole, we will see more of these ultra-cheap importers, but most of them are online. Think Temu, think Shein. In fact, I have some numbers that show that 4 million Australians shopped at Temu in the past year, 2 million Australians shopped at Shein, and that is why our local bricks and mortar stores are suffering so much and why we are seeing those closures that you mentioned.
Larry, you're probably responsible for some of those closures with
Quite a few.
With your Temu bill. Have you seen his Temu bill? All eyes are on the Star.
Only because I hate shopping.
All eyes are on the Star Entertainment Group. It teeters on the edge of collapse. What are the next few days going to bring?
They will be absolutely critical. So last Friday, the business told investors that it had 1 week left of cash. So it really is any day now before that company does go into administration. It's been in a trading halt since last Friday because it failed to provide its mid-year results. So it really is absolutely in crisis. Many people won't have much sympathy for a casino, but 9,000 people work there, so they'd be really nervous at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Let's move on. Donald Trump's tariffs have contributed to these stock market volatility over in the US, right? It was pretty hectic. What does it mean for us here?
It means a lot. Sentiment is something that's really important when it comes to markets, and we have really seen the ASX follow Wall Street's lead. Again, a lot of people might not care. They say, I don't have stocks, I don't have shares, but we all do through our superannuation. So this is potentially costing all of us a lot of money at the moment. Australia is also incredibly trade exposed, particularly to China. So that specific tariff that Donald Trump has placed on China is already having a huge impact for our commodities. We saw the iron ore price drop below $100 a tonne yesterday. That has huge implications for the federal budget. And also just the Australian dollar. It's been struggling for a while. Yesterday it dropped below 62 US cents. That affects imports, but also travel if you want to go to the States.
Finally, it seems art is increasingly shaping our real-life buying habits. The White Lotus. What effect is the White Lotus having on us?
Well, it's apparently having quite an effect on men and their choice of shoes, with leather loafers becoming incredibly popular after watching this show. But guys, I'm going to say this is actually my husband who wore leather loafers to our wedding back in 2022. So he started this trend. That is not him. That is my husband.
I was going to say your husband looks like the guy from White Lotus.
My husband does look like Ewan McGregor. He's incredibly handsome. But as you can see that he's got his leather loafers on a few years ago, so he started the trend.
OK, but people are following what, the White Lotus?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also seen the pyjamas and the robes and things from the show selling out, so it's really interesting. We've seen product placement for years in these shows. I'm sure we've all chased some shoes that we've seen
Amelia,
on TV.
welcome to the morning show. From US stocks to White Lotus. Thank you for coming in.
Actually, my shoes are... Meghan Markle has a pair of shoes like mine.
That's right.
Just thought I'd add that.
Okay.
Bye, Amelia.